Well, recently got back from the beach. The reason I say recently is because, as most of you know, if you spend a few hours out on the beach with the sun hitting you, having fun, all that kind of stuff, you will get worn out. And boy, did I get worn out. I also got a lot of footage on my Insta360 Go 3S, but you're not supposed to get the action pod wet, and I did, especially not with salt water. So I'm not able to get any of that footage. I'm gonna see if I could make it work again. If not, I gotta buy a whole new action pod. This is the second action pod I have to buy, which is getting really frustrating. So you think I learned my lesson after the first one, but I did not. But yeah, we ended up waking up at about well, I got up around 5:30, 5:45 to pack up the car and get everything ready. And we started driving out to the beach maybe around like 6ish. And man, watching the sunrise heading towards the beach is always beautiful, and it's something I always enjoy. Every time we come to Brownsville, we make it an attempt to go to the beach. We don't always go, but we do attempt to go. And today it was great seeing Jordan and Jack just be fearless in the water, especially Jack. Because the first time we took him when he was a baby, he did not like it at all. He was crying. He didn't want to be on the sand. He didn't like the water. And he was scared, of course. He was like not even 1 year old. But this time around, man, he was wanting to go in the waves. He was like getting in the water. He did not want to get out. And neither did Jordan. Jordan was like going in. He wanted to go in deeper. And he was like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Which was awesome because I think as a parent, there's so many times where you have to do things that you do not like because your kids want to do them. And I'm not, I've never learned how to swim. And so going deep in the water is not something that I like. But I know that Jordan likes to go deep and he wants to go and experience everything. And so I try to regulate myself to be like, okay, have fun with him. It was also, the water was so cold when we first got in. So I was like, man, I don't even know I want to go in the water. But Jordan was already like jumping in and laying in the sand and letting the waves hit him. So I'm like, look, man, whether you like it or not, you got to get in the water with your son and you're going to have fun today. And so luckily I got acclimated, everything went fine, and we had a whole lot of fun. And one of the other things I saw was a bunch of the seagulls eating, the little shells and stuff. And if you've ever seen the short by Pixar, I think it is, called Piper, it reminded me of that like completely. And if you haven't seen it, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's about this little seagull who his mother is trying to get him to learn how to get his own food, but he's afraid of the water. He's afraid of the waves, and in the process, he ends up befriending like a little baby crab, and him and the crab get in the water together because they couldn't outrun the wave, and the crab ends up showing them like, hey, look, duck down, you'll be fine. And so they dug down, the wave hits, and the crab taps them, and they both lift their heads up, and you're able to see all the shells. And if you know anything about seagulls, this is the stuff they like to eat. They pop it open, they eat what's inside of it. And it's funny because then after he sees that, he ends up realizing like, oh, that's where all the shells are hiding. I know where they are. And so once the wave goes, he's able to go and get all the shells. And then it's funny because throughout the movie, towards the end of the movie, he does that with all the seagulls around. Like all the seagulls are looking at him like, man, this guy's getting us all these shells, and he's so small, and it's impressive, right? And the reason I like that short so much is because that is such a good metaphor for life. Like there's so many times where we're held back by the fear of something. And so many times, I know a lot of you will testify to this. So many times the fear of the thing is not as scary as actually doing the thing. And so when I first saw that short, man, I remember crying because I was like, man, that's wild how this is teaching me something, right? I always think like, oh, kid shows, whatever. But it was teaching me like, hey, man, not only should you face your fears, but in facing your fears, you're going to end up realizing the thing that you were afraid of was really not scary at all. And not only that, when you overcome your fears, there's a strong chance yet you will be a strong enough person to be a wealth of whether influence, knowledge, income, whatever it is, to those around you, right? And you saw that with this little seagull Piper. Like, it's the smallest one, but because he knew the secret, right? He overcame the fear. He went in the water and he saw where all the shells were. He was able to bless the community with an abundance of food. And I feel like so many times we have that ability in us. Like, we can bless the people around us, and we could be a pillar in our community, in our friend group, in our civilization, in our workplace, whatever it is. But we need to first get over the fear of taking on that challenge, taking on that task. And it's funny because I always think about this short, because there's so much great wisdom in there if you choose to pay attention. And again, sitting out on the beach with Jordan and Jack and my wife, like, we're just hanging out, and I'm just looking at these seagulls, and I just keep thinking about that. But other than just filming and thinking about Piper, I really just enjoyed seeing the boys go crazy in the water. Because again, being in Austin, a lot of our lakes are kind of dried up, and we don't really go out and do hikes and all that kind of stuff yet. And so being able to bring them to the beach, it's only 40 minutes away from my mom's house. So we're able to drive out there, watch the sunrise, and just spend some good quality time together. And, I feel like that is a lesson for every single one of us. That's a lesson that I'm still learning, that we need to overcome our fears for the sake of the people around us. And especially when you're a parent, you need to be overcoming your fears, because you're going to hand those off to your children, because they're going to see how you're acting when you're scared, and they're going to see like these limitations you put on yourself. But you also need to do that for your business, right? Like, whether it's hard conversations with clients, whether it's like increasing your prices or getting new gear, whatever it is, it may be scary and it may be difficult, but at the end of the day, you got to make the right choices no matter how hard they are. And you have to also enjoy the ride. Again, being on the beach when the sun is rising, the water is super cold, and there could have been a lot of reasons. I could have been like, nobody, the water is cold, or I don't want you to get sick, or blah 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 blah. Because us parents, we don't like to get out of our comfort zone, right? We like to stay where we're at. But I love having kids who are fearless and who want to just be crazy, because it allows me to join in that craziness with them. And so today was just another good lesson of, you overcome your fears for the sake of those around you. You overcome your demons, your battles, your letdowns, your insecurities, the things that you feel are holding you down. You overcome all those things because of the people who love and support you and who look to you as a means of guidance and inspiration and encouragement. So if you're a parent, man, don't be the thing that holds them back. Don't be the stick in the mud that keeps them from having fun. If you're a parent, be the reason your children smile. Be the reason your kids laugh. Be the reason your wife looks at you and smiles. That's what you need to do as a husband, as a spouse, as a parent, is give them all you got, because this is the only life you guys are ever going to have together, and you need to make it the best one. And as I say that, I hear the kids and the family laughing, so I'm going to take my own advice and cut this one short. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.